The Niger Delta Development Commission, as a special purpose vehicle, may not have effectively delivered on its mandate, and certain stakeholders in that region have been making their positions known on that, including Professor Benjamin Okaba, who is president of Ijaw National Congress. He joins us now on Newsday. Professor Benjamin Okaba, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, it is believed that the Niger Delta, and its people are yet to feel significant positive impact of the NDDC, as the commission is now known as a cesspool of corruption. What's your view on this, and what do you think can be done to change this narrative?
Okay. Thank you very much. We have to look at this against the backdrop of the special mandate of the NDDC to restore peace and fast-track accelerated development in the region, address the social-political, social-economic challenges of the people. Then, over the years, looking at the performance bond of the NDDC against the humongous budget running to trillions, I will agree to a large extent that the NDDC has performed below expectations. The evidences are there. We have several uncompleted projects, many poorly executed projects, and the issues of corruption have actually been the recurring decimal. Now, where we are now is to give solutions, proper solutions, because the narrative has always been that the NDDC is a cash cow, it's an ATM machine where you walk in and walk out and all that. And I think the last two MDs had expressed concerns and the commitment to address these issues and see how they can revamp the NDDC. So restoring the stolen mandate, so to speak, will require a lot of steps. And the first of these steps would be that, yes, now that Ngbuku has promised, the new board has promised that they are going to do things differently, they should be urged to walk the talk. We want to see a greater synergy between the NDDC, the state government, and the local government areas in the region, working together. They are beyond the issues of corruption. They also have problems of duplication of projects. So I think if these organs of government meet with the NDDC and come up with a Marshall Plan as to what this one is doing and what this other one is doing, and the NDDC concentrating on mega trans-regional projects. I mean, like the railway lines that were cut across all the 9 states of the region, and leave issues of water and sand clearing and petty things that are within the purview of local government. NDDC should embark on gigantic projects, that will impact on the people of the region. Then secondly, the issue of underfunding. Underfunding is very complex because without money, there's nothing that can be done. They have always cried that monies are not enough. The statutory allocations to the NDDC are not paid on time, and the allocation, the contributory list of the multinational corporations are also not coming. So if we can manage all of this and say let these monies come at the appropriate time, then budgets can be followed through. If a project is about to take 9 months and the monies don't come in 3 months' time and all that, the contractors will get into difficulties and that will create a lot of problems. So let the federal government increase its funding and be stable with its budgetary allocations and let the monies come as at when due. The other issue is poor monitoring. This is very important. From the various evaluations we have received, there are so many projects that are abandoned. How were these abandoned? Some of them have been paid 100%, some are paid 50%. So I will suggest that the federal government should establish an independent monitoring body that will report directly to the federal government, right? Just like, yes, we know that we have the Senate performing its oversight and all that, but we all, as Nigerians, know the difficulties we have with all of this. After us, we have the committee on Senate in the banking sector before we see all the rust we're experiencing in this country. So an independent body should be created, made up of experts, traditional rulers, of ethnic nationality leaders of the region, appointed by the government to regularly monitor the contracts awarded by the entities. Then again, you already recall that when the NDDC started, it was seen as a special purpose vehicle to drive development in the region, and it has to come under the direct supervision of the presidency, placing the NDDC under the Ministry of Niger Delta. For me, creates more political problems, because, like you know, the budget of the NDDC come under the ministry and is shared and all that, and then what is given to them. Then secondly, in terms of allocations, why we are dealing, the minister has to contend with a lot of political variables in order to award. But if it's come from under the direct supervision of the presidency, right? Whoever is the head of the NDDC reports directly to the president, and those bottlenecks will be reduced. Then it is also very important to note that the people of the region need to be circumspect. Yes, because we must show commitment. This body is created to better our lots. We, on the statistics available to us, several billions have been spent. How concerned are we as people? We should begin to ask questions. Regional organizations, ethnic organizations in the region should also begin to ask questions, and that will also call for greater synergy. You know, a situation whereby the leadership of the NDDC will have to talk to the people, interact with the people, interface with people regularly, so that it will not just be a top-bottom approach. At some point in time, the community leaders, traditional rulers should be asked questions as to what are their core needs, you know, and this will also bring about what we call inclusiveness, and when there's inclusiveness, it will also reduce sabotage and other elements of abandonment and all that. The committee will now feel like, oh, we requested for this road, we requested for this bridge, and now that it has come, we are key stakeholders. We are not just mere other, you know. So that will also help. Then going beyond that is the issue, like I said earlier, that the federal government need to be more committed to the region. For crying out loud, this is the region that feeds this country. Since 1958, when oil was discovered, we know this number of trillions that have been proved from this region to sustain this country. And at the end of the day, the mitigating effect, environmental degradation, etc., that the people face as a result of this. I would think that if, in the same manner, the Abuja Capital Project, that same manner, that commitment that was given to the Abuja Capital Project, a similar, that commitment is given to the region. By now, we should not be talking about a Niger Delta region lacking water, lacking good schools, hospitals, and all that. I think it's a lip service from that point that also accounts for this. So for me, the laws, the NDDC law is okay. The leadership issue is also something that can be addressed, but the commitment from government and the various entities is very important moving forward. Thank you.
Very good, Professor Okaba. On your last statement, I would like you to emphasize on that. Not too long ago, there were discontentment over frequent changes in leadership of NDDC rather. Do you think there's stability on that narrative currently, you think?
I think some stability, yes, there is some stability, and we pray it should continue. You know, it was part of our advocacies that the issue of sole administrator is an aberration, and that we should have a stable administration. So I want to believe that the stability will help, and the stability will also help for continuity. Yes.
Now, earlier, while you were suggesting ways of changing the narrative, you talked about the NDDC working in synergy with the state government and local government. But isn't this a leeway, you know, for undue political influence on the activities of the NDDC?
No, when you say working in synergy, for instance, the NDDC is situated or is to serve the states of the region. Bayelsa, Delta, Rivers, Kwara, just mention them, right? Now, if you want to undertake entities want to undertake a project, right? Like a water project and all that, and in certain locations within the region, working in synergy will, for instance, right, minimize cases of duplication. A water project, a road project in a community or in a city, in a state from NDDC, and that same project awarded by the state government. At the end of the day, in fact, we have seen cases where one water project bears the symbol of both the NDDC and the state government, just one water project. So that is just one little example of telling you that working at cross purposes or not understanding themselves might lead to this. And again, if they work, there's a synergy and they sit together and say, look, these are our difficulties. You take on this area, we take on this area. At the end of the day, we bring about the even development. The NDDC is about rapid and even development, and that can be better actualized, you know, actualized by this synergy.
Very good, Professor Okaba. Now, let's digress a little. Regarding the 13% oil derivation revenue for the 9 oil-producing states, how effective or otherwise has that been utilized to develop the region beyond the mandate of the NDDC as well? We can use where you are right now, Bayelsa State, as a case study. What are your thoughts on that?
We've always said that with over 10 trillion naira by the CBN recent records, and we also had some 42 billion, 43 billion naira reforms. And where are we in the region? Those are questions we've been asking. My assessment will still remain that we are far away from where we should be. If all the monies disbursed, all the monies budgeted for development of the region were actually spent on actual development. I use the word actual development. Politicians have a way of defining development, but as a social scientist, the indicators are very clear. If it is used for actual development, we will not be where we are. In fact, recently, somebody described Bayelsa as a forest capital, you know. But again, I think in recent times, there's this growing consciousness, and the last 2 governors of Bayelsa, of Rivers State, are working, doing very well, and maybe because, again, that the people are beginning to interrogate government as to be accountable to the people, to show for stewardship and all that. Because I remember when the issue of 40-something billion naira refund was made to state, people asked questions, and the government were made to explain what was received and what they have spent the monies on. So while we say that it was very bad in the past, yes, very, very bad in the past, but I think the governors of the states and the major other critical stakeholders are catching up and trying to be more responsible to the people. And I'm sure if that continues in the next 5-6 years, I think we'll be somewhere.
Now, Professor Okaba, some analysts are of the opinion that the NDDC is no longer relevant. Instead, they're calling for a unique presidential plan for rapid development of the Niger Delta. They believe that this will eliminate issues of undue political influences, corruption, and underlying structural problems. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I've always said this. The NDDC is to address a problem. And the moment that problem is solved, of course, you don't need a solution anymore, right? The NDDC by 2000, when the act was established, there were key issues, which again, issues of agitations arising from environmental degradation, infrastructure deficit, insecurity, etc., etc. Now, if you do a clustering analysis of what has happened after 2000 and all the money spent and all that, and where we are today, right? You can see that NDDC has not actually performed according to the dreams of these founding fathers. If, by your question, if we are done with all of this, right? If we are able to bring infrastructure to the region, do all that we will facilitate peace, accelerate development, diversify the economy of the region, have the needed infrastructure, social amenities, etc., etc. If you are done with all of that, I will know that all those problems are solved. So why do intervention? Interventionist agency is not supposed to be a permanent solution. It's supposed to be a stopgap approach. But in as much as the reasons for which it was established have not been satisfied, it has to continue. Instead, we must do what provide all it takes for the NDDC to work. Like I said, let there be adequate funding. Let there be synergy between the NDDC, the state and local government area. Let the NDDC have a special monitoring unit. Let the NDDC come under the supervision, direct supervision of the presidency. And let us cut off all these bottlenecks of ministry of this and all that. Let the Ministry of Niger Delta address issues general of Niger Delta. Then let the NDDC come under the supervision with a body appointed by government to provide independent assessment and monitoring of its activities. Then all these issues of 900 abandoned projects in Rivers State. Bayelsa had their own investigation. They had about several and something. I'm sure the same thing, the same everywhere, littered with projects on the other and so on, abandoned, poorly executed and so on.
All right, Professor Okaba. Now, let's talk about the current administration's focus on the NDDC. Which areas need urgent attention in running the organization, as it were?
Yeah, there must be an holistic approach, right? Holistic approach, when you talk about which area needs urgent attention, I think every area of the NDDC should be equally treated as an area of priority. Because what area is okay and what area is not okay? For me, the basic issues are, look, let the people in the region live a sustainable life. Let there be provision of the needed amenities. Let there be the issues for which the agitations were up and all that. Those issues be addressed. So, if we look at these recommendations I've made, right, and place them under whatever is structure you want to place them, they are addressed. I'm sure they'll be able to address the issues holistically.
Well, finally, Professor, before we let you go, I'd like us to talk a bit about the master plan of the NDDC. A huge amount of money was paid to procure it at that time, but so far it seems it hasn't achieved much. So should it be reviewed or should it be jettisoned? Should another plan be drawn up? What are your thoughts?
It's very unfortunate. Anytime we talk about the NDDC master plan, particularly when we know the enormous resources, human resources that were injected or invested into that, drawing that plan, and know that today we are flowing without a plan is very offensive. I will recall that in those days, people were even sent to the Netherlands, right, to study agriculture in areas that have the similar ecology. And we had, at the inception, the rice plantation in Peramabri. So it was wonderful. I don't know where we got it from, but just like you said, it is several years after, definitely with the new technologies, new knowledge, and all that. We should have a review, and in reviewing the master plan, we must inject more of indigenous knowledge expertise. Some of these things were just imported from elsewhere, not taking into consideration the local realities. So I think, as we speak, we have experts in various universities in the Niger Delta and even across that can sit down and look at the master plan line by line and inject new ideas, new technology, better ways of achieving these same goals. But I think the goals, as we speak, they are very okay. The targets are also very okay, but with little knocking in and knocking out here and there, we have a perfect document. Of course, you cannot have any perfect document. It will just be a guide. And if we had complied substantially, maybe up to even 60%, we wouldn't be where we are today. It's just because we left that. And the truth is that it's not the beauty of the law. It is the capacity to abide by the law. So that political will is very important, whether we have a law, a martial plan drawn in heaven and it's brought to Nigerians, and the character we have today are made to implement those laws. To even work with that martial plan will not get any result. So it is important to talk about the human capital, the human character, the moral issues and other issues, commitment levels and so on.
All right, on that note, Professor Benjamin Okaba, President, Ijaw National Congress, would like to thank you very much for your thoughts on the NDDC's prospects. Good to have you with us.